All right, welcome back, man. Last week was crazy. A lot of volume came into the market. We have FOMC, the interest rates come in for the dollar, and we see the dollar, man, is just still pumping. Here I am on the monthly chart. I believe we're heading to this level of supply, at least to around 118, possibly up until 120. And then maybe that could be a big top. But if price breaks above this level of supply, man, it's gonna get ugly in the markets. All right, so we just got to keep just following the trend, just trading in line with structure. We zoom in here, we can see it's a major monthly candle. All right, major bullish. We're just clearly bullish to the upside. All right, on every time frame, from the monthly to the weekly, huge weekly candle to the daily bullish engulfing candle. All right, so I'm still bullish on the dollar. Any correction for right now, um, any pullback or correction is really just a pullback likely to continue. Okay. So keep that in mind right here. So price could possibly just pull back. This is a bullish engulfing on a daily. It could possibly just pull back and still hold above that bullish engulfing and just go. All right. But even if price decided to have a deeper correction, all right, my bias is still remaining bullish until price shows me otherwise, any type of, break of structure or reversal or move to the downside. But for now, we're still staying bullish. All right. So with that, we can look at some of these dollar pairs, man, some of the majors. Everything's been trading in line with the strength of the dollar. So we just see GU, man, or whether it's the weekly, the daily, it's just been clearly trending to the downside. Like we can see these lower lows and lower highs, right? Price just continue to make this move down. And it's interesting because if we look at the monthly on this, all right, this is the lowest price it's been in, man, like what, over 20 years, because the level that it's pushing into is around 1985. All right. This is the low of 1985. All right. So we're talking what, 35 years, 30 years, if I'm doing math right. Yeah, about 35, over 30 years. All right. Over 30 years. So about 37 years, I believe. Okay. So we're pushing into this level. All right. This level is going to be a level to pay attention to. Price could still push a little further into this level before eventually giving us a bigger move to the upside. That's a major level of demand. This is the first time it's reaching this level. How I trade supply and demand, normally the freshness of the zone is important. So with this being the first time that is reaching this level, we know it's going to be a lot of liquidity at this level if it reaches here. So be mindful if it decides to spike past this level or slightly poke past the level before bouncing. But until then, we just got to continue to ride and just trade in line with structure. Okay, so if we can see what could potentially happen this week, this weekly candle, strong bearish close. All right, if we go down to the daily and we just see how price was moving, right? All the way, I'm gonna go to the 4 hour real quick. Price continued to make lower lows, right? Right here, we had a nice retest of structure. This was a nice opportunity right here. When price gave a low, we had some beautiful textbook breaking retest opportunities this week across multiple pairs, especially the dollar. Price broke here, forming a lower low, came, gave you a retest of structure, continued down. This is when you look for your entries on the retest rejections. That's when you look to just ride this down. Price just continued to fall another 400 something pips. Crazy. These is major moves when you're talking about the currency market. All right, so now it's interesting because to see where this could potentially pull back, I would need to go like to the smaller time frame, like the 1 hour, maybe the 2 hour, because you could see price just continued. We had the pullback there, then the continuation, small pullback, and then a continuation down. So now we'll look for price to possibly give a deeper correction before looking for any more continued sales. So it's interesting to see how the market opens this week. If it's going to just continue to drop, or is it going to start with the quick pullback? So I would look around this area too. Maybe price can pull back into this level of structure, right? Because this is the closest on a smaller time frame. This is the closest lower high, right? Because we look at the 1 hour, price had a small pullback and then just continue, but that is considered the lower high on a smaller time frame. So maybe we get a correction, a pull up into this level before it get that continuation to the downside. So that's what I would look for potentially. Either that or price can just continue to fall. It could just give a slight pullback, but just continue to fall. If that happens, I will be watching price in this level of demand Okay, so we just got to see how price opens up and how we can look to take advantage of the next setup. All right, all USD. Okay, so looking at AU, same thing. Same thing. So you can see overall downtrend. Price been trending down. We look at this on a weekly, a nice bearish close, strong break below that level on the weekly. Okay, so right now is no reason to look for any buys. Same thing with this. Price trended here on the 4-hour, broke structure. It gave the retest or the pullback opportunity here. All right. This was the opportunity on this retest. All right. Retest of structure there. It gave the opportunity. You look for your sales there, and and boom, price continued to drop. So now for me, it's no reason to look for any buys. I'm still looking to ride this wave down. So, let price correct. Looking at the daily, I'm expecting price to definitely stay below this daily candle. All right. But if I'm looking at the 4-hour, you could take your fib from where it retested down to where it's at. All right. Looking for pullbacks. All right. Some type of correction, you know, some type of correction, and then look for price to continue down. All right. On the daily, again, I would like to see how maybe the daily candle on Monday close. All right. See what type of pullback this wants to give. And then on the correction of this bearish engulfing, I would look to catch that next wave down after that pullback. Possibly, I mean, if we look at around here, I will watch around this level too, because if we're looking at previous structure low, this will be, our previous structure low. So price could possibly pull back in there, retest before going, but it also can possibly pull higher. Okay, but it could do something like this. All right, pull back into that level. You could enter around there, stop loss above that daily candle, and you could catch the next wave on this potentially. So we'll see how that develops and opens up. All right, gold. So gold as well. I mean, we've been on a downtrend. Here I am on a daily. You can see clear structure right here. All right, beautiful structure. If you look to the left on a daily, right here, price retested this previous structure of support. All right, that's what it did here. Retested, boom, rejected, broke away, broke structure, pull back, a retest of this minor structure here, continue down, pull back a structure there, continue down, breaking below that level of demand or support. Came back, retested it there as resistance and continued again. All right, so now you're just riding the waves, right? So here on the daily, we got another nice close below structure. Okay, so with gold, my bias is still bearish. I would just look for the next pullback opportunity, pullback or retest opportunity. So my first point of structure or point of interest will really be around here, previous structure low. I actually caught some of this sell in the week because I saw price broke below. When price broke below structure here, I caught it on this retest and caught this next wave down. All right. So now price is still holding below that level. So I'm interested to see how price opens up. If it want to just maybe possibly come back into this level again and then reject, or it could still possibly come lower. All right. I could take my fib as well from this top to where it's at. Price can still possibly maybe around this 38.2, or it could possibly pull it up a little higher before continuing, this move to the downside. All right, but overall, my bias is still bearish, based off the daily, based off the higher time frames as well. We look into the left here. It's interesting to see where price could potentially come. But we just gotta continue to just trade in line with structure. All right, right now the markets are trending, so the trend is your friend. Euro EUD, Euro EUD, Euro USD. Excuse me. So again, same thing. Beautiful structure to the downside here on the daily. You can see clear lower lows and lower highs, right? Clear lower lows, lower highs, right? Right into the downside. So now we looking at this, price have another firm break of structure. All right. And this also gave beautiful opportunities for a retest here. When price broke this structure support, retested, beautiful textbook retest for the continuation. All right. This was an opportunity here on this retest for the entry, right? And price just continued down another about another 200 pips. All right. So now my bias is still bearish. So now it's like, where do we look next? All right. Where do we look next? Because even looking at this on a weekly, strong weekly close. All right. So it's showing that the bias is still to the downside. So I'm interested to see. I mean, ideally, I would like to see price come back and retest in this level again. All right. But judging based off of this daily candle, price could possibly stay below this daily candle, the strong daily close. So initially, to start out, I would look for how price wants to correct some of this bearish candle on the daily. All right, before continuing. So if we go down to the smaller time frame, all right, and I like to identify where price can potentially pull back. All right, so if I'm judging based off the 4 hour, I don't really like this. Isn't really like a strong area of structure. Price probably would correct deeper than that. So possibly here, previous structure low here. The same way price came, broke previous structure there, retested, and continued. Possibly I would look for price to come up into this level, all right, before continuing. All right, so that would be my next point of structure, all right, because also this will be considered my lower high, all right, before making a lower low, maybe retest previous structure low, and then continue, okay? So that's what I would look for on EU, and we'll see how price develop early in the week. All right, moving on to JPY pairs. So we covered the dollar. Now let's look at JPY. GJ went crazy, like, and it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie, like, this is one of the times where I was a little salty. I didn't catch the whole move because I was catching sales all the way up here, all the way up here, and I hit some of my targets. But man, this is the thing with trading. You can look at a level like this and be like, okay, price can definitely, based off the left, price could, seeing this type of structure, it just came all the way back down like it did in the past. Like you could say, oh, price, likely can do that, but you can't predict how fast that is going to happen. There's no way in the world. There's no way that I thought, because we look at this move from this type of supply, price moved about 1,250 pips, almost 1,300 pips. And this only took about a week from September 13th to really, like, today's the 23rd, but it's Sunday. So like September 13th to like the 21st. So really it took like one trading week or maybe a few days in 1 week and then into, just 1 week. That's a crazy move. You know what I mean? So if we look at this, it's no reason to, this is still bearish to me. If I'm looking at this on a monthly, look how that monthly candle setting up. This monthly candle closed in 5 days. So this monthly candle, look at that huge wick. This is like a big shooting star on a monthly. All right, huge rejection. This is a big sign that price is likely, setting up for even bigger move down. All right, and we have this trend line beginning to break as well. All right, so my bias on this is still bearish. So looking at the weekly, you could see prices slightly, because now where price is sitting at, by looking to the left, this is a previous level of a supply or resistance where price had a big move away. All right, and looking at here in the past, here again, price became resistance. Price became support there. So it's a major level of supply and demand, or support and resistance. So when a structure like this level is broken, that's a sign that you're going even further down. So if you look close, you can see technically this candle is closing below this previous wick, support wick, all right, when price bounce. So that could be a sign that price is going to continue down. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get a pullback first, all right, so keep in mind. But if I look at this on the daily, you can see the cursor is red. So price did technically close slightly below this support wick where price found support at that retested structure. Okay, so I will be careful here, but overall, I am looking for a bigger move down. But now it's just a matter of if price wants to continue down further first and then maybe pull back, or if price wants to give a pullback first. So really, I can't tell just yet, but I'm going to be watching this early on to see if price maybe want to give some type of correction first before continuing. So like if you look at these levels, like price didn't give much of a pullback. You see straight bears, like on the 4 hour, the daily, the higher time frames, it's just straight bears. So I would need to go to the smaller time frame to see where price wants to potentially correct from. Because you see here, price broke below structure, and then all it was doing, it was retesting support. Look to the left. This is also like a minor level of support. It retested that level of support and just continued. All right. So now I'm trying to identify where my next point of structure would be for a potential retest. It could possibly be somewhere like here. This will be the next point that I'll probably look for a potential retest, because if we break this down, you know, that's where price had some type of slight pullback with some type of you know, a couple bullish moves up, but nothing big, like a slight pullback. Excuse me. I don't know why that keeps doing that, but a slight pullback here and then continue. All right. So if it does correct, that will be a potential level that I would look for before price continues. You know, I would look for price to stay below here. All right. So interesting to see how price is going to open up in the week. Because also, if it does that, you can see this trend line I have drawn. All right. Price broke it. Right. Price broke that trend line. So if it does retest around there, that actually will be a retest around this trend line to continue. So that would be a nice potential opportunity right there, because then I would look for something like this. If price does come up into this level, you know, look for it to retest and look for price to stay below there, below the trend line retest, below where it broke out, and then look for price to continue at least back to where it fell to, but possibly setting up for the bigger wave to the downside. All right. And then that would potentially set up for the next breaker structure and let price to continue even further. And if it does, you know, I'll look to the left to identify where price could potentially come to next, or maybe around here, around 154 to 153.5. All right. Or maybe 153. Okay. Possibly lower to 151, down to potentially 150 or lower. So really, you just play it by what structure is showing you. But right now, still look for the sales. All right, all JPY, AJ. So AJ is also setting up for a big move to the downside. All right. Now, looking at this on a monthly, so you can see where AJ is at. So it pushed into, it pushed into a major level of supply. So if we look to the left, this was a level where price broke, retested, found a nice level of resistance, and had a big sell-off. So if we look at this on a monthly, this monthly candle closed in 5 days. So this monthly candle is looking like it's possibly going to close as a shooting star. If it closed like that, that's a nice indication of price moving even more to the downside, especially seeing it on a monthly. All right, so we're already getting that move to happen on the weekly as well, on the daily. The weekly had a nice strong bearish close below structure. All right, which is a nice indication that price is holding below structure for a bigger move down. Okay, top down. So if we go down to the daily, you see we had to continue break below this structure. All right, so it's showing all signs to continue to look for sales. All right, but this also gave an opportunity this week when price broke below structure. Once price broke below structure, that was my sign that it was going to continue. All right, so right here we had a break below structure here, broke below structure. Really, after it slightly broke below structure, price did retest. So if we look right here, let's say on the 1 hour. All right. Right here was where price initially broke below, right here. After it broke below structure, it pulled back, retested. But what it pulled back and just pressed some of this liquidity up here. All right. It broke some of the liquidity of the lower high, but then you had a deep close back below. All right. Deep close back below. All right. Then it slightly pulled back again, continued, another slight pullback, and then just continued. All right. So for me on AJ, my bias is remaining to the downside. I like to see price stay below this retest here. All right. So really this daily candle. All right. I'm looking for price to stay below this daily close. All right. So the pullback, any pullback, I would say, is just a correction of that to continue to the downside. All right. So I would look at this maybe like on a 4 hour. Okay. So any type of correction here, I would be just a pullback to continue to the downside. So I would either say you could look for your potential sell on the pullback. All right. Or you could just let price, let me show you here. You could just let price continue to break below this level of structure, making a lower low. All right. So you can wait for more of a break of this structure and then maybe catch the next pullback, possibly retest, and then just continue to ride that trend. Continue to ride the wave. All right. So that's what I'm looking for on AJ. Continue bearish bias, just like multiple JPY pairs. All right. Now EJ as well. did what I anticipated. I called this out. I called most of these out on the sessions, on last weekly Forex cast, and things just played out. But we had even bigger moves. So EJ continued down, all right, at the top of the supply, and we see big sell-off, similar to GJ, but just not as big. All right, but price did move over 500 pips. All right, last week. So we see this on the weekly. Boom. This close on the weekly is beautiful because this is technically a double top here on the weekly. So this type of close on a weekly, this is an evening star pattern. This is a doji evening star pattern, which is a reversal pattern. All right. Highly accurate. So that's a sign that we're likely going to continue down even further from that level. Looking to the left. All right. It's the level of supply. So you can see I would look for continued sales. And looking at this on a weekly, strong rejection on the week. I mean, on a monthly. All right. So now looking at this, looking at where EJ pulled to, looking to the left, price just broke back below this level of supply. All right. That's a level of supply that became support. If we look to the left even further, all right, this was a major level of supply. So when I see a structure break back below that type of level, I'm looking to continue to trade in that direction. So this daily candle just closed below. All right. So any pullback, I would look for price to stay below this daily candle, break below structure. All right. So keep that in mind. Now, similar to AJ. So right here, I would say if EJ corrects or pulls back and this pullback or retest, I will look for the continued play down. All right. So if it pulls back like that first, I would say look for the continued play, and really looking at where stop loss will be, it will be technically above. I would look for it to be above that bearish engulfing candle. All right. So either look for that. All right. Either that, or you could just wait and see if price wants to actually break below structure first. All right. So if price doesn't pull back like that first, but you want to, or if you actually want to wait for more of another break of structure, catch that. All right. On that break, look for the next pullback or retest opportunity and just continue to ride that down. Because judging based off the weekly, and we broke structure, we broke below, this could come all the way back down here, all the way back down to around 135. All right, which is about another 400 pips from where price is currently at. But I would look at previous where price can potentially reach first, like, around structure levels like this, like maybe around 30, 138, possibly lower to like 137.5 or so. But I'm looking at these structure levels. But overall, this is probably going to come all the way down to at least 136, possibly into 135 level. All right, so that's EJ, bearish bias. All right, and CAD JPY, pretty much the same thing. If I'm looking at this, let's say on the monthly, you see we're getting a nice wick rejection on a monthly, and this was a major level of supply in the past. We had a big sell-off, so prices rejecting around there. You could take this even further if you want, and you can see it lines up as well in the past over there around that level of resistance. Okay, so now what price is doing here on a weekly, we're closing down, we're breaking down below structure. All right, let me see this real quick. I will adjust this real quick, just adjust this a bit. All right, let me see. Yeah, I want to adjust that. All right, let me look at this on the weekly real quick. Try to make this as accurate as possible. Okay, so price is closing back below that level. All right, so I see here on the daily, we have a nice bearish close back below this level of structure. All right, so now I would look for a pullback. You see here, price had a sharp break back below structure. Looking to the left, we broke some of these higher lows. All right, as well. You can even look at it from here. Broke some of these higher low points. Okay, so really now, if price wants to pull back, I would look for the pullback or the retest, somewhere in here, retest of structure, and I will pull anywhere to a 56 one to 50 between 50 or 61.8% of that impulsive breakdown there, and look for the next wave down. All right, down towards 133.6 or down towards 103. All right, possibly lower, but that's what I would look for on CJ. The daily candles bearish, so the next pull up could possibly just be a retest and the continuation. All right, so look for that. If it pulls back to retest like that, that could be a nice potential opportunity setting up. All right, something like this pulls into this level, catch the next wave down. All right. So I would like to see that because then it would give an even bigger risk to reward type scenario. All right. And this could come all the way back down to 103, possibly lower. All right. So that's CAD JPY, bearish. All right. And lastly, GBP AUD. GA just been in a downtrend as well. Really, pound in general has been bearish. The pound has been bearish. So looking at this on the daily, price just been creating these lower lows and lower highs. Lower high, lower low, retest for the lower high, continue down, forming a lower low. All right, breaking below structure. All right, so now with GA, my bias is still bearish. The weekly, you even got a bearish engulfing. It's still bearish, so I would just say look for a pullback. But it's interesting to see. I mean, ideally, you could clearly see where the ideal retest will be around here. All right, before continuing. But because it's not much pullbacks here on a 4-hour to daily. So I really want to spot my next potential retest of structure. And again, it could possibly be here as well because price already slightly retested after it broke. This was the slight pullback or retest. So if it don't pull all the way back up there, it could possibly, maybe catch this level as well. All right. So that's another potential. The price wants to pull in there, retest there. All right. And then continue. All right. Either there or a little higher to this next level for the wave. But overall, my bias is bearish. So for me, I would just need to wait for a pullback to catch a better scenario or a better setup. All right. For the next wave. That's G8. Really also, GBP was a nice setup this week. Tap into the Instagram too. I do live reels and follow us on the Instagram at the FX Wave. I do live trade. I'm doing live trade examples now, so you guys can see how it play out before and after and how I look to take these entries. Because we could look at this on GBP and you can see price has clearly been a downtrend. I'm on a 4-hour, but you can see here price continued at the breakdown, retest a previous structure low, continue forming a lower low, pulled back again, really roughly around this level again, rejected, fell back below. So this is your opportunity to catch the next wave down, okay? Just to continue to follow that trend. So for GBP still bearish here as well. You see the weekly, strongly bearish, the daily bearish engulfing. So with this, I would try to spot my next potential opportunity. This is previous structure low. So I will look for price to possibly come back into that level. All right. So if that happened, if price was to pull up, have a nice correction from here, pull up in the structure around previous structure low, that's why I would look for price to potentially reject for the potential continuation. All right. Now, if it doesn't reject there, based off this daily, it could possibly pull back a little higher. I would look up around here. All right. Could possibly pull higher. That probably would be roughly around the next level that I would look for. But overall, look for price to continue to the downside. All right. So be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Join the free Telegram as well. The link will be in the description. I gave a free signal on GJ actually, for 180 pip TP3, but you can see it dropped even further. So every now and then I'll throw a free signal your way. But of course, if you're looking for, hands-on mentorship, hands-on live sessions with the team and actually have access to all the signals and everything I post, be sure to join us in our VIP at the fxwave.com. It's only $67 a month, or if you want the yearly, it's $497 for the whole year. All right. So tap in with us. We have many traders getting funded, many traders taking advantage. So just be sure that you tap in. All right. I also actually want to share my guy, a testimonial, Tim, as well. We have some beautiful testimonials. Like I said, some people in here, Tim was able to have almost $3,500 day. All right. And I believe he had another day in that week where he made like over 2,000. So just beautiful, beautiful opportunities. All right. So you're talking about people making $5,000 type profits or more. And, I'm only charging what, 500 for the year or 67 a month to tap in and get access to what the value that we're giving here. All right. So again, I hope you got value out of that. You can take advantage of the projections every week for free, though. Don't think that you have to pay. If you don't pay, do your best to take advantage of the projections. But if you need that hands-on guidance, you know I'm here to help you out. All right. So I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all be blessed. Let's catch some pips this week. Peace.